Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the show yet another episode of Crush It Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. Guys, today I am going to be giving you guys a list here of wide receivers that are going to bounce back in a major way in 2022. And I am going to start with the first player on my list, and that is T. Higgins. Now, this is a guy who has elite target share in a very dynamic offense. I mean, in the games that he played last year with Jamar Chase, where they were both on the field, he actually had a higher target share percentage than Jamar Chase. He saw a 25% team target share in those games to Jamar Chase's 22. And an elite target share in this dynamic offense is going to produce very good fantasy numbers for T. Higgins. Obviously, his average depth of target isn't as high as Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase operates downfield more often, but T. Higgins still has the ability to churn out huge chunk plays of his own. And he's going to have some pretty good scoring off the side, having a heavy target share in one of the league's best offenses. I mean, I legitimately think that this is going to be a top 3 offense in the NFL. T. Higgins, due to his size and awesome contested catch abilities, are going to have really good scoring upside in this offense. I mean, we're talking about a guy who had a 9.8% catch rate above expected last year. This tops every wide receiver in the NFL. And considering that he operates over the middle of the field, it's very important for him to make contested catches. He is a perfect wide receiver to operate over the middle of the field and help his offense move the ball. And due to his contribution to the offense, I think that this offense is going to be very efficient, and I think that he is going to absolutely explode in fantasy this year. Next player on my list is going to be DJ Moore. Now, this is a guy that has had the worst quarterback play of any alpha wide receiver in the entire NFL. I mean, he has had even worse quarterback play than Terry McLaurin. It's an absolute joke. Now, we insert a much better quarterback in Baker Mayfield to sling him the rock, and this is going to be very, very good for DJ Moore. I don't think people understand how hard DJ Moore is about to ball out this year with a significant improvement at quarterback, but this is an alpha wide receiver. He's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He has the alpha build. He ran a route on like 90+% of his team's dropbacks last year. This is a player that's heavily involved in his offense. He has alpha target share. He's got elite athleticism, speed, route running abilities. This is one of the more talented wide receivers in the NFL. Nobody knows it yet because he's never had a good enough quarterback to throw him the ball. But now that we have a significant increase at quarterback, we're going to see how good DJ Moore is. On top of that, we have a healthy Christian McCaffrey to help the overall efficiency of the offense. This is going to bode very well for DJ Moore having extra scoring opportunities. I love his upside this year. Next player on my list is going to be Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen was not bad last year. He was a wide receiver 11, but we're talking about a guy that might be in the highest scoring offense in the NFL and is a lock pretty much every season to get like almost 10 targets a week. So he's an absolute target hog. He's extremely reliable. He completes his receptions, his targets at an extremely high clip. And, so this guy catches a lot of passes. He's dominant for PPR formats. He has tremendously high scoring upside. Last year, he only had 6 touchdowns. This is an absolute fluke. There is no way that he doesn't eclipse double-digit touchdowns in this year in what might be the highest scoring offense in the NFL, especially considering the fact that every single season this guy is one of the top red zone targets in the NFL. He is absolutely peppered with red zone targets, so the touchdown numbers pretty much have to go up. Obviously, touchdowns are a little bit of a volatile statistic, but they tend to even themselves out over time, and I definitely see double-digit touchdowns coming this year for Keenan Allen, and he's going to dominate for PPR formats like he always does because he has one of the best quarterbacks in the league to throw him the ball. And he's playing in a very efficient offense that is going to push the pace of play and really give a lot of opportunity for Keenan Allen to just absolutely feast. Next player on my list is going to be Stefan Diggs. Now, it's weird to call Stefan Diggs a bounce-back candidate because he was the wide receiver 7 last year, but this is a guy who, in the offense that he plays on, with his role in the offense and his talent level, you pretty much expect him to be a top 3 wide receiver like every single season. And if he's not a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy, like he's not really what you want him to be. I mean, 7 is not good enough for Stefan Diggs. This is a guy who could easily be the best wide receiver in fantasy football this year. If he finished as the wide receiver 1 in fantasy, I would not at all be surprised. And look, the only real difference between his 2020 season and his 2021 season where he hauled in less passes and he had less huge chunk plays. I mean, in the 2020 season, he had like 20 receptions of 20 yards or more, whereas he only had 12 last year. So less chunk plays last year. He caught, roughly off the top of my head, I think 25 less passes in the 2021 season. So these are all things that caused Stefan Diggs to not have quite as good of a fantasy season in 2021 as he did in 2020. But these are all going to bounce back in a significant way. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns. This is an absolute guarantee because this is an offense that provides tons of scoring opportunities. They absolutely peppered Stefan Diggs with red zone targets. And, if he repeated his 1,500-yard season from 2020 this year, I would not at all be surprised. He could easily lead the league in yardage playing in this Buffalo Bills offense. And he's going to bounce back in a significant way. He's going to absolutely explode. He should be one of the top 3 wide receivers off the board. Next and final player on my list here that I have is going to be CeeDee Lamb. Now, this is a guy who was wide receiver 19 last year. Now, we haven't really seen the breakout season for CeeDee Lamb yet, but we know that wide receivers tend to break out in their 3rd season. And now there is no more Amari Cooper. This leaves CeeDee Lamb to be the clear alpha male wide receiver in Dallas. He is going to be absolutely peppered with targets. He's going to play in an offense that really plays at an extremely fast pace and is going to provide plenty of volume for CeeDee Lamb. So the volume, the scoring upside, the fact that he's going to be the clear-cut one on the team, and the fact that, we've got an Ezekiel Elliott who is a lot older. So, will the Cowboys run the ball this year as much? I don't know. I think they might lean on the pass a little bit more. They went and got Jalen Tolbert. When Michael Gallup comes back, this is going to be a very efficient passing unit. CeeDee Lamb is going to head the way in this offense and be by far the number 1 most targeted wide receiver on the team. Now, I think that when Michael Gallup comes back, he will give him some target share competition, but that's only going to help the overall efficiency of the offense. I think that with or without Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb is going to absolutely explode this year and bounce back in a significant way. And because of this, I have him as one of my biggest bounce back candidates at the wide receiver position in 2022. I can't wait to see what he can do this year. All right, guys, these are my top 5 bounce back candidates for the season. I'm going to be getting at you guys pretty much every day from now on because, fantasy's here. I know a lot of you have your drafts ahead of you. A lot of you have probably already drafted, and some of you, like me, are probably in that kind of in-between situation where you've drafted in some of your leagues and you haven't in others. But bottom line is, it's draft season, it's fantasy season, so I'm going to be getting at you guys often.